Welcome, Angry Faithful. Yes, that's right. We're breaking up. Not us. We are. It's clickbait. Total clickbait. I'm letting you know that right now. No.
I even freaked out.
Yes. Bill, simple-minded that he is. Freaked out. We're not breaking up, but Canada and U.S. is. For what we hear, I understand that we're in a economic war with the world right now, and we're trying to fix our economy from the 4 years of crap that we had to deal with. Egg prices are finally our egg prices actually going low. Let me see.
Egg prices are dropping. Fuel around here fluctuates so much.
Yeah.
Especially when they built the Quick Trip, I expected the Quick Trip. Price of fuel's gonna be low. No, often the Love's outside of town, especially if you use the app. If you go to Love's, use the app, type in your phone number. You don't have to scan anything. Automatically takes 10 cents per gallon off.
Okay.
That's our tip for today.
Well, it's gone down. The average right now is $6. It used to be $8 a dozen. And is it Trump? No, it's not Trump doing that. What it is chickens are there. There's a certain okay. From what I was told from a farmer, there's two types of chickens. There's chickens that lay eggs during the wintertime, and there's chickens that lay egg in the springtime. Right now we're in the springtime and they're laying eggs now. So we're able to get stock. So it's not Trump. It really isn't. It's literally nature. That's it really is. That's why between December, January, and February, those 3 months, prices are going to go haywire no matter what, because it's a passing. So it's not Trump this time that did this favor, making the egg prices go down. No, it's just because, chickens are laying eggs again. So there's that. But we have I have it up right now, and I'll go ahead and share it with everybody. And let me go here. If I could do more shares, I would. This is Canada's response for the tariffs on cars.
Unifor workers. I stood in front of this morning at the Ambassador Bridge, a bridge that is a symbol and a reality up until now of the tight ties between our two countries, ties of kinship, ties of commerce, ties that are in the process of being broken. We will defend our workers. We will defend our companies. We will defend our country, and we will defend it together. This will hurt us, but through this period, by being together, we will emerge stronger. I think what's happened, this was part of our discussion, over the course of the last several months, Canadians as a whole across this country, have gotten over the shock of the betrayal and are learning lessons. We have to look out for ourselves, and we have to look out for each other. It would be appropriate that the President and I speak, given the action that he's taken. I'm sure that will happen soon. I'm not going to give you a precise timing on that. In terms of options, which was the second part of Ms. Martin's question, even during a caretaker period of government, we have anticipated this possibility. We have put in place the mechanisms so that if it is appropriate for retaliatory tariffs, and there's many considerations to be taken in those regards, and I want to have the meeting of our cabinet, Canada-U.S. cabinet, other considerations. We need to see the details of the executive order.
Buyer beware, your next car could.
Okay. Yeah. So everybody's going off on the I mean, how many did we look up before we even got onto the show? It was like 2 or 3. Cars are going to be more expensive because of the tariffs. Okay.
But we can't even look at the tariffs and go, a car is going to go up 25%. This car made in America is going to go up, is not going to go up 25% because we don't know the details. Tariffs on automobiles are real quirky. And when he did the USMCA from NAFTA, he improved our position on autos. And there's a certain percentage that has to be made in one country. Certain percentage had to be made in Mexico. Certain percentage was the max that could be made in Canada. And going from NAFTA to the USMCA, he increased the amount that had to be made in America. So that helped America back then. Now he says a 25% tariff. A 25% tariff on what? I went out car shopping, and on the window of cars this car is 70% made in the USA. This car is such and such percent made in Canada, such and such in Mexico. So when he says 25% tariff on what? On any car part made in a foreign country, major part, not like a little part, major part, like engine is made in Mexico, whatever is made in Canada. Or if it's assembled, if it's 60, 70% here, 80% here, does it avoid the tariff? We don't know. So he could have a percentage set where the car, part of it could still be made in other countries and he doesn't add tariffs. Or he could take that 70% made in America and go ahead and add the tariff to the pieces that are made in the other country. So there's a lot of unknowns with this auto tariff.
So we don't know the full extent of it yet.
Right. You can't look at the car lot and go, that's going to cost me 25% more. And then we've got the cars, our cars going over to the EU. We're screwed on those because they tariff our cars really high. And they tariff them high, and then they have a VAT tax, value added tax that Europe has. They add, when we sell our cars over there, they add that VAT tax. When they ship a car over here to sell, they give them a waiver. The EU doesn't charge those car companies a VAT tax. So there's massive tariffs on American autos when they go to Europe. And that's what's pissed him off so much. We are getting screwed worldwide. And we have been for a long time. They've been doing that.
Yeah.
So,
well, we've been screwing over certain countries doing that too. Not as bad as they're doing now. Once I found out how much tariffs are being done on a lot of the stuff, it's gotten worse here in the last 10 years. I think it was in Obama's administration. They started doing a lot worse.
Now, before that, that's why I've supported Herman Cain originally, because I took deep dives into tariffs. When you get into the trade agreements, the spreadsheets with all the fine print of this product and quotas, you can really start digging into and go, wow. So that's how. So the average person has no clue how tariffs actually work. They have no clue about trade deals. They have no clue about tariffs against us. Look at Canada. What's in the news? Oh, the evil Americans. Ooh, evil Americans. China just put 100% tariff on some products to Canada. Yeah, that's not it. That's not in the news.
No, it was a blip. It was really a blip. And I figured that would be like a noticeable thing because there is Canada tariffing China?
They didn't add any additional tariffs. I'm sure they've got trade deals that have some tariffs in them, but I don't think they increase retaliatory. Nothing.
That's so weird.
But you've got what Quebec and Ontario are really screwing people over. And they're the ones driving the narrative. They're the ones pushing the media. Alberta isn't controlling the media. They are. So they're pushing the evil Americans while Alberta's saying, hey, wait a minute. And I've seen more and more. I've seen Alberta 51st. When I write posts, I write Alberta 51st a lot. But then I started seeing Saskatchewan 52nd. And now today I heard that Saskatchewan has said if Alberta goes, they want to follow. So we might get both of them. And then Manitoba, which I've never paid attention to, so I don't even know their politics. They said they're considering following too. So, I mean, liberals would not like it if we got Alberta because that would be two solid conservatives.
Oh, okay. This is the reason why China did that. I don't know why Canada's doing this. Okay. The commission said the measures were in response to Canadians' 100% tariffs on electric cars from China and its 25% tariff on Chinese steel and aluminum. And this was, which took effect in October. So that's the reason why China imposed 100% tariffs on Canada.
Yeah, when BYD released their Seagull 2 years, has it been 2 years in June, I think? It kind of, by the end of the year, it kind of freaked out the EU because Trump was saying, hey, we can't have the Chinese EVs from BYD and XPing, I don't know how to pronounce it, XPing over here because it will, well, here's what he said, it will be a bloodbath for the U.S. automakers. Although they were saying that he said bloodbath. No, the CEO of XPing a few weeks before that said the EV industry is going to be a bloodbath. He was repeating him. And the liberals took it out and was, oh, look, violence. But the EU started getting scared and they said the same thing. We've got to put tariffs on these cars from China because if we let them in, our EV industry is gone. But,
well, not even that. Okay. Anything electronic that's coming from China nowadays, I'm really scared of. Look at those Transformers.
Nah, I don't watch cartoons.
Jesus Christ, Bill. I swear I will go to your house and thump you. I will toss one of your cats at you.
Aww. Hey, Buffy.
But anyways, we had some Transformers come from China that Trump pushed back and Biden ended up letting go. The reason why Trump did not want these Transformers because it had like kill switches inside the Transformers. And Biden let them through, and that's the reason why I don't want anything coming from China. We need to start building this stuff. I honestly believe it is better for the economy, a U.S. economy, for us to build our own shit again. We'll have workers. We'll end up having everything else benefit. But people don't want that. They want this whole world economic bullshit. And it's ridiculous. It really is.
Yeah, I looked that up on the China Autos a few days ago, and because I specifically looked up that BYD Seagull, and yeah, that's sold in very few countries. Now we wouldn't even want it anyway. It's a little tiny shoebox. It's smaller than most of our tiny car. It's smaller than any tiny car that we have that we sell here. But I looked up everything else of okay, what markets are Chinese vehicles sold in, because I knew the EU was blocking some of them. And I tell you what, they're gearing up to sell big time to Europe, Latin America, Asia Pacific, Middle East, and just all over the world, over 70 countries. They're gearing up to sell the Chinese cheap EVs. So
Here's the thing. I mean, you can get them. Well, you can get them on TikTok, but there
buy
are
a Chinese car on TikTok.
Yeah, dude, that TikTok is becoming like Amazon for China.
But can you get one from that Carvana vending machine?
Probably. And you still want to go. Was it you that said that? Or I think it was you or dad that said that. We're going off of sorry if everybody. I got a sniffles. But they want to use the Carvana it's supposed to be like a Carvana coin, and you put a coin in and you get your car.
I've made jokes of that. I've made jokes about, oh, how many quarters you have to put in that to get your car out. Have you ever seen one?
Yeah, they got one in Fort Worth.
They got the biggest one I've seen is I think it may have been around Frisco or something. There's a really big one. There's different sizes all over the place.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'd buy a car like that, and I wouldn't feel good buying a car and like Carvana delivers, and then you have so many days you could just send it back.
Actually, that's how I got my car. Exactly. I bought it online because I couldn't find any car in town that was a good vehicle that was cheap but reliable. I've always had trouble with cars in town. I'd pay sticker price. I get really bad credits AP is it APA? APR like 25%.
What? Whoa.
Yeah, I have horrible credit.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyways, because I don't have credit. I don't like have credit cards or anything. You have to have like credit cards just to get like build up credit. And I'll just pay cash. I'll save up money and I'll pay cash. Always done that. Anyways, or I'll sell something that I don't want to use anymore, which I'm probably going to end up doing here lately. But I don't think it's in the best interest for a lot of people to buy a vehicle here in town.
No, we went to Oklahoma City to look around, but
everybody goes.
We're late. We're late people. So sometime in the next couple of weeks, we're probably going to go to McKinney. McKinney has some massive dealerships and look.
Yeah. But here in town, I've gone to Dallas and seen good deals on vehicles.
Yeah, and you can, if you want to look for interest rates, you need to look at multiple dealerships. Like, okay, a Subaru, there's Sewell Subaru and this Subaru, and in certain times of the year, like around Labor Day, Memorial Day, and toward the end of the year, you can get not the interest rate that you see if you went to Subaru's website and we've got these deals, because they'll start fighting each other for lower interest rates.
Yeah.
Like some of the vehicles right now, they're running 0.9%. So you always have to look. I sold cars for 6 weeks, sold 11 cars. We lost money at the lot on 2 of them. And yeah, we had the biggest thing that we made the money on, the car itself The service department is where the money's made.
Yeah.
And then the financing. We had this little Italian lady, little fast talker Italian lady. And we'd send someone in there and go, oh man, she's going to beat the shit out of them. And that's where we made a lot of our money at Ron Roberts Ford, is getting cars financed, and we'd send them into her, and she was really good, and she would hammer them. There'd people be coming out crying. Oh man, I don't want to send a customer into her. She's gonna cry.
Well, what's she doing?
Just, a hammered sales pitch. Like okay, if any of y'all have been to a timeshare presentation, think of a timeshare presentation, but it's in the finance office of a car dealership.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, that's what it would be like. But yeah, it was. I felt bad, and then the reason I quit was there's a nice little old lady I was delivering a Taurus wagon, and she was going to deliver flowers, and it had a scratch on the door. And I told the manager, hey, we're about to deliver the vehicle. We need to fix the scratch. And he said, has she seen it? I said, no, hide it. When you do the walk around in front of it so she can't see it. And then the first place she goes, she'll think a cart hit it.
Yeah, I would have quit after that too.
Yeah. I was like, I won't do that. So yeah. Now we went out looking, and okay, we went to the Dallas Auto Show the last 2 years in a row. Wife has a really big, long list. We learned a few things. Okay. We want a salesperson to tell us something. We don't want a salesperson to hammer us. When it's a massive lot and there's not a lot of salespeople around, they're hungry. They're going to look and go, okay, these people aren't serious, so I'm going to ignore them. Well, we didn't want him hammering us. So I went, yeah, we're just starting, and we got this long list of cars that we're going to look at first. And he was just like, okay, you can go over there. We could get no questions answered. So we learned, okay, don't do that. Don't tell him, hey, we're absolutely not, because we've got this many to go through. Because we did have questions. We wanted to get in some of them. Wanted to test drive a couple.
No, I totally get that. Now, I just wanted to show everybody this. This is so funny. And this is actually real. Let's see if I can find it on there we go. I found this here recently. Let me put it in a full view. And it says we could use someone like Donald Trump as president, someone who could not be bought or changed. And that was Hillary Clinton in 1994. That is so funny. That is just one of the pop outs that I wanted to show everybody real quick.
Yeah, and there's things that we might, it's okay, kind of jump around today.
That's fine.
Like one to throw in, the new F-47.
That was interesting. I wonder what it's gonna go. It's gonna look like. I've seen like styles, I guess.
It's been flying for about 5 years.
Has it really? Yeah, we have to say. Oh, that reminds me. Yeah, okay, I hate to tell everybody this, but we've had a 6th generation fighter for a long while. We really have. I think it was actually introduced in I'm gonna have to find out. I really do think it was in Obama's administration, but
and I don't know about calling it next generation air dominance, NGAD,
No,
I don't know.
there's-
Dyslexically, I think of that as nads of the air, but anyway.
Okay.
Did you miss that one?
Yes, I totally missed it because I was looking at something else. What was that?
Oh, the next generation air dominance, NGAD. Dyslexic. I can't get it out of my mind. Nads of the air.
Oh, but no, we've had a 6th generation aircraft, and it was the B-21, and that was. Let me find it, the B-21 Raider. Now, the one that we're talking about now is the fighter jet, but we've had a bomber, which
The
honestly,
B-21 is going to be released at 3 air bases. One of them's in Texas and one of them's Whiteman.
yeah, it first flight was in November 10th, 2023, 16 months ago. So that's actually the official
of the B-21.
Yes. What's 835?
Almost the time.
No, you put down 825 or 835 for some reason in the private chat. Oh, screw you.
Anyway, so what is F-47?
Oh, F-47 is the new fighter jet.
But why?
One, they named it after the president. He's the 47th president. That's the reason why. But it's
there's a couple other theories. Okay, the P-47 homage to it, and the Air Force was founded in 1947.
Yeah, officially it was yeah.
So, it's just a coincidence that Trump's 47 and it's 40. It's just pure coincidence. There's two things though. Forever while that flies, liberals are going to go. You can go, oh look, it's a Trump plane, and they're just going to go nuts. And Elon went to Boeing and was trying to. This was 6 weeks or so ago, and was trying to see if they could speed up the new Air Force One, which kept getting delayed. And the latest is Trump would be out of office before it would be released. He wants it before he leaves office because the president who's in office, whatever plane that was the Air Force One, if it's replaced while he's in office, he gets to take that to his presidential museum.
Yeah, we verified that.
Yeah, we already mentioned that. My nickname is Rerun. Rerun.
Yeah, I know. You've said this before. I love you, Bill. Anyways, now there's another thing that happened just recently. A basically showing off moment with I don't know what she is. Oh, Secretary of Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. She went down to El Salvador this week. What did she do in El Salvador, Bill? I'm glad you asked. This is what happened to with her in El Salvador.
And visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
Now, having that, there's actually some judicial stuff that's happening because of that. A lot of judges are stopping the planes from leaving. It's kind of I understand where the judges are coming from. One, we don't know that much of immigration process as civilians, because you're supposed to be more or less tried. Come in here illegal, you get arrested, you're tried, and I think that's the process that they want to go through. And then they're put on a plane and deported. And if they get into a liberal area, they're like, "Oh no, man, you're fine." But in all reality, Trump is skipping the judicial process and sending them out. And I don't understand that process. Bill, you're twitching a little bit, meaning that you might have an answer for us.
Well, now the issue with that is it was Venezuelans, and he sent them to El Salvador because Venezuela wouldn't take them.
Yep.
I don't know the technical details on it, but we are sending them back to their home country. But when you send them to a different country, that's where some of the technicalities come in. But I say send them all out. I say send these people who are burning Teslas to that prison.
We'll get to that, Bill. You're jumping the gun again.
Is that extreme?
That is extreme.
That they should be in that prison.
That
Not
would be hilarious.
not Gitmo, because Gitmo would be too nice. It'd be too cushy. Send them there.
Okay, we'll go over the process. The process for undocumented immigrants in the United States involves potential apprehension, screening, and potential removal. But it also includes due process rights and potential paths to legal status through various programs and legal avenues. I think that's what a lot of judges are wanting.
No, they're just wanting to stop it 100%. They don't want justice. They don't want it. They're just trying to stop every single thing. Now, I say send the people who burn Teslas, maybe send them down there. But this guy, no. He's just an idiot. He was doing that to a Cybertruck that you could shoot. He probably he probably didn't even put a ding in it. There might not even be a scuff mark.
I bet he put a pretty big ding.
Huh?
I mean, that's
no, well, not in a Cybertruck. Although when Elon did that. When Elon did that, taking the sledgehammer and look, you could hit it with a sledgehammer. You hit it with a sledgehammer. I looked at that sledgehammer and I went, why does that have an orange handle? What is that? Turns out what he did, and everyone said, yeah, it can be hit with a sledgehammer. It's called a dead blow hammer.
Oh,
and you can use that to like knock joists together and not do damage. So they actually, to me, that was faking it. I mean, I didn't like it.
I don't know. Okay. Hold on. I've seen videos of them shooting the damn thing.
You can still shoot it. But they hit it with a sledgehammer, that dead blow sledgehammer, and it didn't put a ding. It didn't put it in. You couldn't see it. And people are like, oh, it's hail proof. No, I researched the size of hail we get, and no, there's different levels of hail that will definitely. Texas hail will definitely wipe it out. Just like it does solar panels.
No, look at this. This is how tough the Cybertruck is.
You might want to do it in a slight angle. You know what I mean?
There is a ding in that. See, it put a ding in it.
Yeah, flatten the tip of the arrow. Look at the tip.
Now he did recommend when he was sending the Cybertrucks out to California, he did recommend because they were going to be patrolling for safety, for robbers and stuff, vandals.
Oh,
And he said, if you see anyone, he said, duck because the windows aren't bulletproof. But he said you can duck and they can hit the door, but don't stay up because don't look and go because no, it wouldn't end well.
No. The other thing that we already went through that. Love them or hate them, Greg Abbott. There's another thing that happened on X. This is it. This happened recently by now it says AB at AB84 cracker of the day hashtag CTESPN, don't know, Professor X AK Grab Abbott Texas legend, and it's him in a wheelchair dressed as an X-Men, and Abbott responded, gotta add this to my resume, need the outfit, they see me rolling. I mean, love or hate him, I mean, he's done some questionable stuff here in Texas, but
and that was a Grok created image.
Yes. It shows the Grok symbol. So, but yeah, he went after it. He's like, you know what? It's kind of funny, and it really is. I'll laugh my ass off if he dresses up this Halloween as Professor Xavier.
Oh, that would be a riot.
That would be hilarious.
With the whole, maybe get the whole X-Men type wheelchair with X on it.
Yeah.
Do the whole thing. If he did it, he would do the whole thing. Down to the mock up wheelchair.
Yeah.
That would be cool. All the Doge stuff and the government redundancy stuff that has come out. Well, not come out. It's always been there, unless you're an idiot and you live on Maddow and The View. Then you have no clue what's going on. But I've always said what goes on is we have redundancy of everything. They'll do a program. You'll have these scientists working on this, these like National Institute of Health working on this project. Yeah. And then the government will want to do another project and they'll have that group and then another group working. Well, you've got redundancy of management. So the RFK Jr. came out and said there are within the National Institute of Health 40 agencies, all separate. So each one of them have their own admins. Each one has their own HR. Each one of them has their own procurement. Everything is duplicated. And because of the computer system is so old, nothing communicates with each other.
So what was that the 86,000 people that he's cutting?
No, we never actually even got the 86,000. That number's complicated because some of that would have been replacing people who are retiring, quitting. So it wasn't actually going to be 85,000 brand new agents. I know there's a lot of positions he's trying to cut the newer people, and now they're saying he has to hire back the new people, the probationary people. But they're doing some major things on that, and I just caught it a little while ago, and I didn't go into details, so I won't.
Well, I
won't
saw the
discuss it.
video. I saw the video late, like right before I got off a break, and I watched a little bit of it. It was talking about him laying off, like I think it said like 86,000 people.
From the IRS.
No, this is from human.
Yeah, really look at it. I don't have the percentage in front of me. I should be more prepared with all kinds of details, but it's a one person
Well,
from this
sometimes I
end
like to
operation.
see
It's a one person from this end operation, but it's really a small percent of the government that has been let go. But what's going to happen here is, now think about buying power. Think about when you got 40 different procurement agencies going to buy supplies. So they're each buying supplies.
Oh, yes.
They're each negotiating. So each one of them already might be paying more than others. But then if you bundle them together for supplies, then you get a lower rate.
Yeah.
It's like I was in a remote data center, and I was buying consumables for the data center. And then they said, but this is the opposite situation. They said, oh, our central procurement needs to buy it from this one source. So they bought 3590 tape cartridges for a new IBM robotics system. And I went ahead and on the side talked to my source. And then after they made the purchase, I sent them a report and I said, here's what I could have got those for. And it would have saved $15,000 on that one purchase. So they were like, okay, Bill, you can do your own purchasing. But that's not what we got here. We got 40 different HRs, 40 different procurements. So that's the cutbacks. The cutbacks aren't cutting back on services. You're going to still have the scientists, but instead of 40 HRs, you're going to have just, maybe one HR division over the National Institute of Health. And in the recent interview with Elon, there was even in HR people who their only job is to distribute PCs. I think there was 1,200 people to do the provisioning of PCs. And that could be done in a short time, but they've got all these people hired, and that's what they do. And they've hired them to do them. Okay, it's not always the people's fault. It's just the system as they've grown and grown, and no one has kept it in check. So that's the big thing in the National Institute of Health. And did you see the interview with Elon with Brett Baer?
No. The only thing I was thinking about just now was the buying in bulk was Batman's mask from Batman Begins. So, enlighten me.
Oh, okay. That throws me. Well, in Elon Musk, the interview, he said that 40% of the calls that come in from Medicare are scam calls. They convince the agents to divert funds to a different account. Oh, we're changing accounts. Oh no, we're that person. They get the Social Security number information and they have the person divert it. So someone might lose a check or two checks. It may be strictly because an agent decided to go ahead and, oh yeah, you're the person. I've verified that you're the person. So let's change your bank account information. They get a couple of checks. And they said 40% of the people. And I'm familiar with this because I got onto my mother over 10 years ago. She'd freak out and she'd say, oh, it could be my pills on the. And I'd look at the number and I'd say, Mom, the caller ID, this is not your pills. This is not about Medicare. It's a scam. And I had to fight with her to not answer those. She would get scam Medicare pretending to be Medicare person wanting to get her information, and she got it all the time. So I had to really fight older people. I mean, it's like older people, a real estate agent down in Marble Falls, you know, the things you get in the mail for car warranty.
Yeah.
This older lady had signed up for 7 on the same car. She gave in to the scam of extended warranty.
Oh,
You know, the fake here we need to, or the phone calls you would get where we want you to extend your warranty and we can do it for this. 7 of them she had for the same car. So yeah, you gotta worry about the elderly somewhat.
were they actually legit warranties, or just 7 payments they were doing that was fake?
A lot of those, some of the things you get, there's some we get in the mail that are legitimate, but a lot of them aren't. You're paying and you're paying, and it's just going away. But the other big thing that Elon went into in the interview was, you know, basically, if you look at it, Doge's IT support. Their IT support. They're digging into that, and he said that just in the National Institute of Health, one of the people in the meeting with that Brett Baer did the interview, there are 700 separate IT systems.
What?
7. You need to watch that interview. I missed part 2 of it was tonight, right before we came on, and I missed that. I'm gonna have to catch part 2 because it was an awesome interview. You know, people aren't watching it because they hate Elon. If you watch it, you'll get a better understanding of what's going on. Some of it we already knew because we pay attention to reality, so we've already seen those. The 700 separate IT systems. I hadn't heard that one.
What reality are you in? What reality I'm in? I'm in the reality where birds aren't real.
My cats talk to me.
Okay. I'm just making sure. You know,
They do. We have our realities.
okay.
Politically, I think we're pretty close, but outside of that, yeah, we're both kind of bizarre. And
Yeah.
nothing would match.
We're
And
weird.
you know, there's a lot of
Here's the thing, and I want people to understand this. We just talk about stuff that we see and we give our opinion. We're getting a lot of comments. One, most of the comments is Bill had to tie his freaking mustache because all the comments were Hitler because he was wearing a MAGA hat.
geez, it's coming back.
Yeah, it really is. It's so funny. We're gonna have to figure out a payment plan for your dye. But I'm telling you, Sharpies might work. But most of it's MAGA stuff because you wear your hat, you wear your MAGA hat, you really like Donald Trump. But we've gotten, I can't believe the right is a cult. And this segues into what I want to talk about now. When the right, and I'm not part of the right. I'm in the middle. I'm moderate. No matter what, I'm conservative, moderate. But I'm not gonna pick a side. I don't like cults. Even though people are like, "Oh, you're in a cult," like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's far right now. Joe Rogan's not far right, you idiots. He is more leftist, socialist ideas. But he doesn't want the country to fall into a piece of crap like it has been. Saying that, all of our stuff is just opinions. Sometimes we'll make funny jokes, and we just like to talk about this stuff. Bill doesn't get to talk to that many people, and I love talking to Bill, even though there's times that I'll verbally abuse him to the point to where most people would be crying. But he takes it. He takes all of it. Saying that, I honest and yes, this is going to be my opinion, and yes, Bill has the same opinion on this. The people that are damaging, this is the whole. It's a peaceful protest of burning Teslas and scratching them up. It's a peaceful protest. It's a peaceful process. No, it's damaging property. This is the same as 2020 when people were rioting. Or no, it was 2020. It's the same thing as 2020.
And
People
Pam did say yesterday she is going. She does hope she's going to press for 20 years for the person who they caught, the one in Las Vegas who did the fire.
They only found one, and it is terrorist. And the reason why it's terrorist is because it's the basic fact. It's a political damaging. You're using political rage to get your point across. Makes you a terrorist. Hate to say that.
Yeah, it's the definition of terrorism.
Yeah,
and they're going after the general public. They aren't going after convincing the politicians. They're going after the general public. That's also part of what makes it terrorism.
Yep. And if anybody goes, well, they shouldn't do anything to them because they're part of our clan. Get this. You decided to wake up that day, pick up your big boy pants, and go, you know what? I'm going to firebomb something. No. You don't
put
get
J6. Put J6. Put J6.
And we found out through the theories that were out there, it was a conspiracy theory, that it was just this. And we found out it was rigged from the beginning. I'm sorry. The government rigged stuff?
And they're trying to...
No, hold on, Bill. Like the kidnapping of the Michigan governor. Now, the Michigan governor at the time was a Democrat. And a lot of right-wingers... militia was going to kidnap the governor. But get this. The FBI was coaxing them to do it. Literally. The FBI got C4. It's documented. They got them C4.
And they weren't even going to do it.
They weren't going to do it. The only people that wanted to do it was the FBI agents. That's the world we live in. Y'all want to trust? Okay, y'all want to trust the government as much as you want to be political. You want to, yes, we're doing like political banter and everything like that. But in all reality, you want to be political, and you want to do this, and you go, "Oh, I shouldn't have any kind of bad things happen to me because I'm just doing free speech." No, that's damaging property. I will defend a person I will defend someone's property, even if I hate the person, unless like he's a pedophile. I'll just go. There's certain limits. There's certain limits. I mean, if I knew the person was a piece of shit, like a real piece of shit, I'd be like, ah. But if the person's just like has a different political belief than me, but they're a decent person, but they follow the rules, I'm gonna defend that person. I might, have a little spat with them and everything like that. But if someone comes up to them and like pushes them, that's my bitch, not yours. That's my bitch. You don't get to fuck with my bitch.
Well, and then J6, when they bring that up, they always bring it up every day. They bring every day on X. That's all I see. That's 5 hours. It's what, 5 hours? That's 5 hours. What? And how many months Did cities burn in 2020? How much damage is there now? How much terrorizing the general public? And that's one of the big differences between, Trump is hate speech. No, Trump attacks the media. He attacks the leadership of the Democratic Party, the money behind it. How often have you heard Trump attack the voters?
None.
Democrat voters. That's the difference. Trump doesn't attack voters, whereas we're all MAGA Hitlers. We're the N word that's not the N word, that's the new N word, not the old N word that Obama brought into popularity.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bill.
We're the new N word.
I don't know what you're talking about, Bill.
No.
But yeah, there was another thing that I wanted to talk about, and it coincides with this. Yeah, I remember now. Did you hear about speaking of 2020 and riots? Did you hear about the George Floyd family that won their lawsuit? They got $50 million.
No.
Guess how much they have?
Most of it went to lawyers, didn't it?
$1,200
Out of 50 million?
out of 50 million.
Who got the rest? Black Lives Matters to buy another mansion?
They're bankrupt too.
Yeah. And then there's the other topic of the day.
Yes, the Pete headsets thing.
Yeah, the topic of my Jeffrey Goldberg. Was he? Now I like what Bill Mitchell said. What he posted a couple days ago. It was a classified briefing. Once he realized that, and it was true, he should have immediately quit the group. When he did not, he became a spy, not a reporter.
Okay. Here's another question. I wasn't able to do any research because I did overtime and I passed out when I got home. Now, saying that, did Tulsi Gabbard at any point in time say during the congressional hearing today or yesterday, or whatever it was, did she say the whole thing was not classified? That
I didn't hear what she said, but that's been one of the bad issues. Is some people said it was, some people said it wasn't. It didn't have actual routes.
Okay, she's the only one. Her and the president are the only ones that can actually say something that was, if it was classified. A lot of the other sectors can too, but if they say it wasn't classified, then it was public knowledge and he had every right to be there. That's the problem.
That's right. They can declare something. They can declassify anything they want. They can say this is declassified
within their division.
Yeah.
Their division.
But then there was the what was the phrase?
Even though that guy's a piece of shit anyways.
Who?
The reporter.
Oh God, yeah. He's the one who's brought up the document, all of the things over the last few years. But there was a term, do you remember what it was, where they said that we're going to go to and it was a certain term that meant they were going to get into top secret stuff, so they had to go to another form of communication.
No, I didn't see that. If that was the case, everything on there. My thing is I think they knew. Because sometimes, yes, the government does this, and it doesn't matter which side you're on. Sometimes they give information out, so they report on that so they can do something else on the other side. I always question the stuff that they did just bring up, and they're like showboating this right then and there.
I wish I could remember that phrase, and you didn't hear it. We're
No.
going to take this to the.
I didn't hear it, Bill.
Oh man. Well, anyway, they made a phrase that alludes to we're getting into stuff that is top secret, and we need to go to another form of communication. Even though Signal was approved, my thought is, okay, they need to find, the big deal is find who did it. Find how it got put on the phone. No one has really found out who. They don't seem to care. Now, I know there's something going around about Alex Wong adding it because his wife was his assistant to the J6 people who were prosecuting. But Tom Cotton came out yesterday, and as that was going around, Laura Loomer pushed it out, and he said absolutely not. Wong is a good guy. He's known him. He's patriotic, big Trump supporter. But that's being pushed around. But you know who does? Who is involved with Signal?
It's
Amber Cag, no, not Amber Cag. Catherine Mayer, the NPR CEO.
yeah.
The one that was the interviewed was a total idiot. It was an awesome interview. She is on the chairman of the board of Signal.
Yeah, I heard about that. And yeah, it's kind of a suspect because they're trying to get rid of funding for NPR and PBS.
Which they need to, and the one of the things they need to do in every one of these meetings, like one of the politicians called it, and Elon's puppet Trump is doing what they need to do. Every one of these, they need to come up with when conservatives first wanted to get rid of it. We've been talking about it since the early 2000s that it was too biased and had to go.
Well,
so
yeah.
they need to come out with, okay, you're blaming Elon and saying it's Elon's idea. Here is such and such speaking about getting rid of it in 2001. Here is such and such. Here is such and such. Here is me making the speech about getting rid of it during the campaign before Elon had anything to do with it. They need to do that with every single damn one of these topics, because everything, getting rid of the Department of Education, Reagan tried to. Reagan wanted to. We've been trying to since Reagan. All of the stuff they're coming out with and blaming Elon, they can just come right out and go, nope, wasn't Elon. It was, here's when we wanted to get rid of it. And as far as spy stuff, keep going, David. I'm looking for something. So,
but here's the only thing that kind of trips me up a little bit is Pete Hegseth's description of what happened. He just okay. He's good for Secretary of Defense, but he should have knew better of what to say. It's like he could have just said, you know what? We didn't know he was in there. We're sorry. We're gonna try to do better. That's all he had to fucking say. But he just kept on tripping on his own fucking words through that whole interview.
All of them did. Even they say Caroline Leavitt, she came out and they were all moving around with the story when they should have just dropped it. Yeah. They could have not responded. And I'll tell you, when Trump is talking about whatever, Greenland, talking about this, they have a certain press conference that is for this. When they go into that, he should just go, that's not what we're discussing here. Next.
Yeah. That's all really need to do. You know how many times I've gotten people just over and switched over to another subject of like, oh, you XYZ. I was like, yeah, I messed up. My bad. Like, but you need, I was like, no. We're not going over this. I know XYZ, I messed up. My bad. I was not in the right place at that time. We're moving on.
And he's been good about that. They have been good about that so far. This is the first time I've seen them get really tripped up.
And by the way, I hate to tell you this, but Signal is not secure. And people's forgotten this for some ungodly reason. Someone got hacked by the CIA and the FBI when he went to Russia. That was Tucker Carlson. And someone told Tucker, it's like, hey, your signal's been hacked by the FBI and CIA. There's nothing we can do about it.
Oh, that was on Signal?
Yeah, that was Signal. That was the app that he used. I don't use any of those apps. The only way you can secure a information nowadays is literally take your phone, put it into a Faraday cage, go over to a secure location, verify everything. This is how you do it. This is so weird. I know this. You cushion the windows. You put your phone in a Faraday bag. Turn it off. You put that in a soundproof room. And you go to a different soundproof room and make sure there's no recording devices in there. And you have the conversation. That is the only way to have a secure talk. And the U.S. government has this. The only reason why I know this is because they say how they do it.
But then you have Chinese spyware on your phone. I don't even do that.
That's because they don't care about me that much. The only prospect and spying they're going to do on me with that app, because one, I'm not high enough to get anything good, is selling me stuff. That's the only thing they care. They want to know what they can sell me. And yes,
Well,
I bought stuff off the TikTok shop. Some stuff, other stuff, it's pretty decent.
Well, there's an organization called oh my gosh, hold on, Freedom of the Press.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this organization, they call themselves whistleblowers, but they've bragged about, and the idiot Lincoln Foundation really loves them. The Lincoln Project loves them, and they brag about getting people into areas and, well, we're just whistleblowers when something bad is happening. No, they're trying to find something to make conservatives look bad. So you look at that and you go, did an organization like that have someone in the White House that messed with the phones? Oh, production issue.
And about billionaire. Since Donald Trump's return to the Oval Office, leaks have been pouring in about his plans to reshape the government and about billionaire Elon Musk's plans to overhaul the federal workforce. These leaks range from documents related to sweeping tax changes to an email from a Justice Department official on investigating those who prosecuted Jan 6 rioters. And the leakers are making some very important people very angry. Despite this, there's nothing scandalous about the long-standing practice of leaking information on mismanagement in the government or the private sector. But the courage to leak information about such misdeeds to the press means whistleblowers face potential risks. from loss of employment to a lawsuit all the way to prison time. So let's talk about the basic steps of minimizing risk while sharing sensitive information with a news organization. As a general rule, be cautious about giving out tips on something that only you would know or material that only you would have access to. And take a moment to consider if the risk of leaking this material or information is even worthwhile, or if you feel you have a strong moral obligation to do so. But if you do, let's talk about what whistleblowers need to keep in mind to stay safe. First, before moving forward, consider, do you have a strong tip, and do you have any solid evidence to back it up? But more than that, consider whether your tip is really worth leaking to the press. For example, the broader public might not want to know that your neighbor is not picking up after her dog, but allegations of corruption or illegality among public officials, now that's certainly newsworthy. A large, well-resourced organization like a government agency may have various avenues of fishing out whistleblowers compared to a restaurant or a small business. So especially in those scenarios, be careful about sharing things that could make you identifiable as a source. Definitely don't use your work email to initiate contact or respond to a reporter. Instead, use encrypted messaging systems like Signal for private messaging, and consider sending your materials through the physical mail. Be sure to do all the leaking outside of your workplace. Don't use work Wi-Fi or work phones, especially if you've ever installed a software on your phone that could make it easier for your workplace to see what you're doing. Instead, call from phones that won't easily be traced back to you, like by going to a local business that you don't usually frequent and asking them to use their phone. Consider using a whistleblower submission system like SecureDrop that allows you to share documents anonymously through an encrypted Dropbox. Heads up though, to use SecureDrop, you have to use the Tor browser. Check out the news outlets that currently use SecureDrop by going to securedrop.org/directory. And now, let's talk about metadata. Sharing information.
Okay, you get the point. Organization that it's been around forever, and they are focused on trying to infiltrate everything Trump and put people in just to dig up whatever they can. It would not surprise me when I saw that, when I heard the Signal leak, it would not surprise me if someone related to them, because they work close with Goldberg. It would not surprise me if someone who they're working with, who was in the White or around one of their phones, an assistant, a staff, whatever, got the phone and linked that phone number. I think this thing was all a setup. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't an accident that the worst of every single reporter out there got that.
Why couldn't they say it was like, I don't know how he got in there, and we're gonna look into it. We'll find out. Well, what about XYZ? No. You didn't fucking hear me. We're looking into it, trying to figure it out, and we're done.
That is exactly, and that's what any conservative analysts have shaken their head and gone, why? Why did they keep trying to actually he gave me a private message and I just now noticed it.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Where was I?
Yeah, through that whole thing, I was listening to you slurp the freaking drink. I was like, I muted my stuff, so I didn't hear anything. So you don't hear me cough barely. That's how I do things.
I need a softer keyboard. My keyboard is too loud. Hey, I'm new at this. He's been doing this a while. I'm kind of new at this.
Yeah, I'm doing. Jeez, it's going on like 6 years.
Yeah, I've only done this live. I've run a website, but I've only done this live stuff since November, December.
Fully, you've been off and on with us. Fully on since December. Yes, you've had troubles that you had to go through, and we spoke about it a couple of times. Reason why that you're just now popping in. You had your stuff, and you were supposed to be our political analyst and on quite a bit, and then
Oh, that
and
that was a long time ago.
God, yes,
That's where you had the little studio with the green walls.
yeah.
Wow. We drifted away from Canada and Alberta and all that. A couple of
No.
comments I wanted to make on that is
Okay,
in 95, Quebec tried to break away from Canada.
really?
And the vote lost 50.58 no. They were that close in 1995 from Quebec breaking away from Canada.
Oh, that's a lot of French people then.
But as far as right now, Alberta, right now it's at 40%. Now he's looked at the current premier, the temporary guy. He had until October to call for an election, and he's looking at the polls. He's looking better. Trump is really going after him, so he says, "Okay, we're gonna do an election in April." So Canada's official election is toward the 3rd or 4th week of April.
I thought they were gonna do one in like I thought it was supposed to be like in June.
No, they could pick. They have no set anywhere between now and like October or something. At any time he can call and say, "Okay, I'm calling for an election." They had no set date. And that's what he came out and decided to do a few days ago. He said, "Okay, we're doing the election." And it's probably because he has climbed in the polls. He's going to use the Trump tariffs, April 2nd tariffs, and he's going to hammer that down as, I'm the one who could do something about it. But hey, if he wins, we got Alberta's oil. And they got a lot. Canada can say, "Oh, you Americans, we're going to screw you over," but they don't have half. They have about half the refineries that
Most of the oil
they need
down here, anyways.
Well, they have half of the refineries they need, so they can make half of the refined fuel. They got right at half of the amount of refineries for all petroleum products. But for diesel, we have most of the diesel refineries. So most of the diesel they get is from us, because we take that heavy crude and make diesel.
Okay.
So as far as their products, if we're big tariff on the diesel fuel going back to them, they're screwed. Their whole supply chain is screwed as far as transporting it across the entire all of Canada, not just Alberta. So I would really love to get Alberta all that oil, the oil money that the rest of Canada rakes them over the coals, their citizens over. They're fed up with it, and that's why they're at 40% now.
Okay, here's my opinion on that. I'm kind of half and half. It would be neat for them to come in and get our freedoms too, because Canada doesn't really have a lot of freedoms. A lot of people are like, "Oh no, they have all this freedoms. They got free healthcare and everything." I've heard horror stories of their free healthcare.
Yeah, the truckers protest really sent some of them over the edge to get out of Canada. That was horrible, especially the lady, one of them who's running right now. I mean, she was running. She's so far behind, if she's even on the scale. She's the one who laughed about shutting down the truckers' bank accounts so they couldn't even buy fuel or anything. She just froze all of their bank accounts, and she laughed about it. And she's one of them running for premier.
Oh.
But that was one of the big catalysts that turned people like Alberta and the Conservatives. Yeah. And the Conservatives have been ahead until Trump's tariffs, and the Liberals were able to use them in ways that we didn't really think they would be able to.
Here's another strategy that you're probably not thinking of right now. What if he's pushing this, and then when he verifies a time and date, this is when we're going to vote, XYZ. He goes, you know what? Sorry about that.
I don't think he can change it once he calls for it.
No. Trump. He's like, hey, this is really shady and illegal, and we do it all the time in the CIA anyways. But Trump can go, you know what? We're gonna if you vote in a certain way, not saying which way, I'm gonna cut all that stuff and make sure y'all,
I don't think so because he's looking at it as a win-win. If Polar Bear wins, then he's got someone he can deal with on trade. If Carney wins, we might get Alberta and all of their resources, which is much of the Canadian oil and natural gas. So I think that's why in that interview, he turned around and they asked him, well, what if the Liberal wins? And he was like, I think I'd like it better. And it was at that point I went, so that's what he's got going. And then there's the latest. There was our vice president in Greenland today, and he said a wordy dird.
Oh, what did he say?
It was about the weather being something cold. But he was at Patufik. He was at the military base because evidently his wife was going to be going without him, just kind of doing like an international thing. And then there's too many people got protest up against us. So he ended up cutting his locations. And if you listen to him, if you listen to his speech earlier today that he made in front of the base, Vance is pissed.
Why?
Because we really, really want Greenland and the fighting, because the Danish, Denmark, bad production value, cannot defend it. You know, I had made a thing when we did that Greenland about how Russia and China had sent a couple of ships down the new channel that's opening to the north. Well, evidently they've got a lot. They've done a lot. And Vance said, we're gonna invest. We've got to invest in icebreakers and all kinds of other vehicles. We've got to be able to patrol up there because Denmark isn't. And you'll get China and Russia going into Greenland, and then they cut across northern Canada all down to the Bering Strait. We don't want that route. We don't want all that traffic that we don't know about. We've got to defend it. And that's why he's saying we have to. It's a must for the defense, not just because right now the Chinese are already trying to take over with their mining project and some of their mineral rights, but China and Russia, and I haven't looked into detail on this, I just heard it today, because he mentioned that Russia is also doing something trying to get into Greenland. But Trump posted this earlier. Hold on.
A bond was born, not from the cold silence of the tundra. A bond was born, not from treaties or trade, but from blood and bravery. While Germany controlled Europe, the Nazis set their sights on the Arctic. Greenland became an unwitting combatant, and the United States stepped in, not to conquer, but to protect.
Bill
set sail from New York to Greenland, carrying with 1,000 American soldiers, 43, nearly 1,000 American soldiers, with 4 chaplains, set sail from New York to Greenland, carrying with them hope, duty, and a quiet fear. But their ship was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat, and the frigid waters of the North Atlantic became a grave. Those 4 chaplains gave up their life vests. giving their lives so that others might live, to protect America and Greenland. Their sacrifices helped win our freedom, and we will never forget. Together, Americans and Greenlanders stood as sentinels at the top of the world. But today, Greenland faces new threats from Russian aggression and Chinese expansion. Our shared legacy lives on in every joint mission, every Arctic patrol, every partnership forged in the shadow of melting ice. This is not just history, it is destiny. Now is the time to stand together again. For peace, for security, for the future, America stands with Greenland. In the cold silence of the
Yeah, Trump put that out at 1:30 this afternoon.
I seen that.
You
I was
saw
like-
that?
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, did you like it?
Oh yeah, I loved it. And I hate to say this to a lot of people. We're not, I mean, could it be possible that Greenland is part of our country? Yes. Would it probably be a territory? It's probably going to be a territory. Reason why I say it's going to be a territory is because of the basic fact of it literally takes an act of Congress to have people vote on a state. And reason why it's the same thing with Alberta. Alberta's not going to be a state. It's going to be its own it's going to be a U.S. territory, which they still get the benefits, just that they're not going to be able to vote in Congress. That's the only thing about territories. They're secured by United States, but they're their own government, but they don't get the benefit of voting in Congress. And I hate to say this, but Canadians conservative are for people like Bill, Canadians conservatives are more democratic of old. But saying that, these are probably going to be our if things go right for us, these are going to be our territories. Well, the benefit of that is we would secure a lot more areas with our Navy, which we need to work on again still. Another thing that is happening is BlackRock might be buying the Panama Canal.
Oh,
It's in the works. It's
I
not.
didn't hear that. I do know BlackRock owns all four of our major beef suppliers in
Yeah.
the U.S. So they're actually talking about we need to figure out see if we can break them up.
Yeah, because they're becoming a monopoly. We can't have that. But here's the turnaround: is they're trying to Trump is getting them to purchase the Panama Canal.
I hadn't heard that one. Wow.
And
BlackRock.
It
Well, I know he does have someone from BlackRock, major in BlackRock, in his administration. I can't remember who it was. Do you know?
No, because I don't get in depth in that stuff. Can you hear me typing?
No, I can't.
That's because I got a really badass sound system.
Oh, BlackRock is trying to remember the thing is that we can't have China. We can actually, with the treaty that Carter signed, we could actually send the military down there perfectly legally under that treaty as long as China is there. And it looks like Hong Kong will not sign the deal to sell its port operations to BlackRock. If they absolutely refuse, now in Panama they had said, okay, there's some deals that it'll take a couple of years to get China completely out because we've got these contracts. But if China is going to absolutely refuse to give up the ports, then we can send the military in.
I mean, it's not this whole thing could have been diverted if some idiot didn't give it away. Fucking, who was that? Who was
Carter?
that? Carter gave up the Panama Canal?
Yeah. That was Carter.
I thought it was here recently.
Oh, that treaty?
Oh, not the treaty, the Panama Canal. We owned it for until like
till the 70s.
Really? God, he was a fucking idiot.
1977, the Torrijos-Carter treaties.
We gave it up in 70s.
1977.
Dude.
And there's something about it, the neutrality treaty. The neutrality treaty in that guarantees the neutrality of the canal and allows the U.S. military the right to defend it if there was ever a threat to its neutrality. So in the neutrality treaty, it says, we or Panama control it. Anyone else gets involved in the treaty, we have the right to send in the military. So when he's going nuts and he's doing this on his own and he can't do it and he's going to be stopped. No, he can't. The treaty Carter signed allows him to do it.
I'm surprised he hasn't done anything with it yet.
Well, when Rubio went down there, Panama said, okay, we're working, we're getting China out. And we said, okay. And then a little bit later, I think they've backtracked on it. And now this deal that I didn't know about till you mentioned of BlackRock. So it looks like, I don't know. It's worth looking into. Was Trump directing whoever's in his administration with BlackRock to try to make the purchase?
There's no one in Trump's administration that's in BlackRock. That was Biden.
No.
Yeah. They literally found a lot of people that's from BlackRock in Biden's administration. Hell, he hired somebody in the this was in like 2022. Former executive Egg Van Norsted joins Treasury Department, and BlackRock is becoming one of the Wall Street's key DC conduits. That was August 11th, 2022. So yeah,
I thought there was someone in his actual cabinet or administration.
he was part of the Treasury Department. I knew Biden had. God, how much is BlackRock worth right now? Got to be in the 10 trillion.
Yeah, keep going for a minute. I'm
Oh no, BlackRock hits record 11.6 trillion in fourth quarter, and that was January 15th, 2025. They're also building a new stock market in Dallas. BlackRock is. They're the main contributor.
that seems to come and go in the news. Are they still actually doing it?
Yeah, it should be built in like 2025, sometime here. But yeah, it's still on the go. I think it should be completed in 2026.
Okay, I was kind of I guess going to go on to one other topic we were getting into earlier, that F-47, the contract that he gave Boeing,
Mm-hmm.
is a cost plus contract, and that was one of the things that he was supposedly they were going to completely get rid of, is cost plus contracts, and I can't find it now. I have to get into that.
What does that mean?
A cost plus contract, it's built in to the contract that if there's a delay or cost overrun of a certain percentage, then they'll get paid extra and they'll excuse the delay.
Oh, they're still doing that bullshit? I thought you were I thought
Yeah.
that's what you were talking about, but I was like, they can't. No. Please explain it to the other people, but I can't believe they're doing that.
Well,
I mean, they should have freaking learned that from a lot of the stuff that they found out. I mean, DOD found they were supposed to have like a new HR program made, and instead of it was supposed to only cost like $8 million, and it ended up costing like $280 million.
well,
Because it took like 8 years to make, and they still hadn't finished it.
that's how you get stuff like that train in California to nowhere that keeps going on, and they keep funding for it and funding for it. Well, there's no incentive for them to create it on time. Well, I'll have to get into it because I did query Grok on that. I was like, why they were getting rid of those, and he did come up with a so everyone don't just jump and go, oh my God, it's a cost plus contract. He did come up with details of why it was a cost plus contract and why it needed to be.
Yeah, it's because there's so much fucking shit on those things.
No, it's an actual legitimate. It makes sense that they did that.
On military vehicles, they usually have to, but the only problem with that is you get the Bradley. That was hands down a big time government fuck up. Did you ever watch the Pentagon Wars?
No, I didn't.
It's on Netflix. It's a Netflix movie. It has Kelsey Grammer and the dude from Princess Bride. But they talk about what it took to make the Bradley. I think it was like $40 billion, because they kept on changing the schematics of the Bradley.
No.
Because all it was supposed to be a infantry vehicle, but it ended up being like a air defense tank, and then they gave us the Abram.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed. I can't find this right now because it mentioned those failures. And it mentioned more detail on why they failed and why this needs to be done as cost plus like they were, why it needs to be done, but won't fail.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know why they don't just do the drone flyers. You've seen the data for the drone fighter jets, right?
Well, the F-47, it can go with or without manned, And then I was watching this little documentary on what they've come up with, and it actually supposedly will fly with like a squadron of drones and interact like it's commanding drones with or without manned in the main control aircraft. So think of a dogfight and you've got all these drones around fighting with you.
Well, no, they had AI fight actual pilots, and the AI won like 100%. I mean, it's more Starlink, Skynet, but you know, we're getting there. And I say to my robot overlords, I am loyal to you.
What?
So
You're
if
not-
they take Bill hostage and use him as fuel of some sorts, I will be slightly upset. Okay, a little bit more than slightly upset. I'm not going to rage war on the machines. I'm just going to be slightly upset.
Okay, let's give up on that topic because I can't find that.
All right.
I'll put that down as next week.
That's fine.
Next week.
But I think we can close that out then, Bill. We got
Okay.
we got any other topics that you are interested in other than that last one?
Hold on, in my never nicotine stained hands. No, that was it.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. I am Debbie Dickerman.
And Wild William Bill.
Thank you all for listening, and thank you for the 400 subscribes. We're up there. We're clawing our way up there, but we're up there.
Awesome.
Check us all out. Love you guys.
Bye.